Rage on that beat, going crazy. Rage on that beat, going crazy.
Welcome to another Stadia Monday Night Chat. Yes, the #1 Stadia show that will inform, educate and entertain you on all things Stadia. Well, that is the hope. You are all welcome. Good to see people in the chat already. Hello, Jerome. Holtz Rock. Sonny, how are you, my friend Sonny? Lots of love going around there. Is that because of Holt's love quality? Yeah. Random Noob, and of course Dave. Oh no, man, Dave's watching it at work. 5:30 this morning. Ooh. Bad news. Well, apart from Dave who's having a terrible time, I hope you're all having a great time. You are all very welcome, of course. Say hi in the chat as you're already doing. Don't forget to hit the likes, sub if you're new here, of course. Avail yourself to the super chats, feel free. I am your host, Clive Illenden, so join me as we return from space and make a splash landing on all things Stadia this week. And what a week. What a week. Just as I said last week, it never ceases to amaze me that there is always so much to talk about. I mean, there's people who will do videos during the week because there's so much to talk about. There's always stuff coming, and it seems to be this constant torrent of stuff at the moment for Stadia, which is good considering how it was but 6-7 months ago. People were sort of going, no, there's no news, why aren't Google saying anything, expecting something every week, a couple of things every week. And now we're getting it. We're getting the games. That library is filling up. As I say, it's absolutely great. So the games and the features, they just keep on coming. And gaming wise, the next few months are pretty major with some great big exciting titles coming. So it's all looking good. It's all looking rosy there in the garden, as they say. But before that, what games have you been playing? Let me know in the chat. Put it in the chat. Yeah. Also, if there's any Stadia or cloud gaming issues or subjects you want to raise or me to address, just whack that in the chat. And if I see it, then, that's great. Antonio, do you like my new workplace? Yeah. I'll get a coffee from Bob. Bob. He's reading the book. Bob, you can give me a coffee, Bob. Oh, he's not hearing me. Ignores me. He's rude. Anyway. So this week, in terms of games I've been playing, pro games, of course, Beats and Shapes. Oh my God, I love that. The music in Beats and Shapes, not just the music. I was talking about it yesterday to somebody. The music, the design style, the look, the graphical design. I wish I had that sort of graphical design nature. It looks so simple on the top, but you know that the thought and design that's gone into that, the way that everything hits on the beats, that integration of the music and the graphics and the way they integrate on the, as I say, on the beats, and everything hits perfectly, and it just works so well, and it looks really cool. And one of the saddest things in gaming is when your little character, it's a square block, for goodness sake, but when your little square character in Beats and Shapes dies, and it just says it's over, and the melancholic piano chords come in, and it's really sad. And then you start tapping away, and then there's that uplifting moment going, it's not over. And it's really uplifting. It's just really brilliant, although difficult. But at least they factored in a sort of a casual mode if you get past the first boss level, the tutorial levels as they call them. You get through that, you get a nice casual level and a party mode so that you can just do the story campaign and not worrying too much if you do happen to die. So I've been doing that. I looked at Kona. Anybody been playing Kona? I find the controls on Kona made me feel a bit motion sick. I was like, I'll have to change the sensitivity down on it. But other than that, I really liked the kind of exploring. It's a sort of a much more relaxing game, and the music's kind of quite nice, and the setting, and you can sort of just chill and kick back and sort of play it slowly and take your time and explore. And I quite like that. I mean, you compare it to sort of Beats and Shapes, which is a sort of drop in drop out game, and it's full on in your face and stuff like that, so that's pretty good. And my favorite of the bunch has to be Strange Brigade. For me, I think it's right on the button in terms of the games I kind of like. A bit of third person, shooting adventure, Lara Croft meets Zombie Army 4 kind of mix up. The setting, the storyline, the sort of the puzzles as well makes you feel like you've got big brain when you work it out. One of the things I couldn't work out last night, and I was watching my own video back because I'm vain like that. I was watching my own stream, so I streamed it last night, and it was great. It's a great game to stream if you're going to stream a game. So I did, instead of streaming PUBG, I streamed Strange Brigade, and it's a great one to stream. But one of the puzzles, I was watching it today, and it was just kind of so easy. I just thought, oh God, I missed it. How did I miss that yesterday? But other than that, I love the puzzles and the way they kind of make you feel big brain when you get them and stuff. And I haven't started playing Metro 2033 Redux yet. I love the Metro games, but I'm just having a look at the first three. I mean, that's the thing, when Stadia Pro drop 4 games on you, and I know we've got a 5th one coming. Take your time. You're not expected to play them all in a week. Don't use them all up. Don't make yourself sick. But it's a good mix of games, I think. So people have been really liking Kona. Yeah, I think it's a different pacing, I think, Sonny, to be honest. It's a nice pacing. It's just the controls I just find a bit loose. So as I say, it makes me feel a bit seasick. And I think Dave found that as well. I saw in a tweet somewhere as well. So anyway, let me know what your favourites are and what you've been looking forward to. So we've got Shapes and Beats, Kona, Strange Brigade, Metro 2033 Redux. We of course have got, oh god, Rock of Ages coming, and there's been, of course, your lovely PUBG upgrade as well, which is quite fun. I'm loving the setting, the new island setting there, the sort of extra trees, but also the trucks. There's these trucks that go round, and the idea is if you can manage to sort of blow them up, they'll drop some bounty for you. But I've never managed to blow up one of the trucks quite yet. But you know, it's good to see for the pro members, you know, that's there, and you know, it's all part of season 8, and that's, you know, really cool. Keep that coming up. We love it. We love a bit of PUBG. But it was nice, as I say, to play a bit strange Brigade, just to sort of mix things up a bit. So that was good. Anyway, and to say, let me know. Drop in the channels. Let's have a look. What your Kona is like. Firewatch. Hello there, Dunks. How are you doing? Want to escape? Kelly, how you doing, my friend? Good. Is why they exclude. Yeah, they're all. That's right. It's you know, we provide free coffee and food and pizza for everybody back here. Yeah. The trouble is, you know, they don't do any work because they're just taking advantage of all the free food. Who knew? Anyway, so we crack on with the news. So as I say, we had all those pro games, which are pretty awesome. Rock of Ages to come later this month. And in addition, you know, I think there are about 35, roughly 30 to 35 Stadia Pro games have been launched to date. I think that's about right. In the early 30s anyway. Anybody know exactly how many? I was trying to look it up today, try and research it, but it's hard to tell because some of the Stadia Pro games I'd already bought before they became pro games. So I can't just use my own pro game count, as it were, to work out. But if you think about it, that's incredible value, especially if you've been a founder since November, because what, you had 2 months free in November? No, 3 months, sorry, 3 months free in November. Then they threw in another 2 months. So you've had 5 months free in the last sort of 8 to 9 months. You've had 5 months of those free, and you've had nearly 30 odd games. I mean, that's pretty incredible value. And that's what I've mentioned this before. One of the main differences between Xbox Games Pass and Stadia Pro is the fact that the Stadia Pro games are there for life. If you claim them, they're yours for life. Even if you stop subscribing, then go back, the game's there for life. So the incentive to stay a pro member for longer, I think is greater than potentially with Xbox Games Pass, because Xbox Games Pass, they have a rotating cycle of games. You know, I've told the story of how, you know, they briefly had Red Dead, and then they had GTA, and then, you know, my daughter wanted to play GTA with a boyfriend. She popped in, and it had gone. It was no longer there. And it's funny because I got I get updates from Xbox, and I was going to do a little screenshot of it today because it dawned on me the main difference between Xbox Games Pass and Pro, because it says you get these tweets going, leaving Xbox Game Pass this week, and a little reminder of the titles that are leaving this week. Now, we get reminders of games that are leaving Stadia Pro this month. But the difference is, if you claim those games, you've always got it. Whereas when the game leaves the Xbox Games Pass, that's it. So what are they reminding you a week before it leaves? Like, play it for the next week and then lose it? Just an interesting little difference. 31, there we are, 31 pro games. Jerry says, and have you bought any games and then later they become pro games, or are you one of the lucky people that managed to, or you just not bought any games and then avoided that issue totally? 31 sounds about right, because there are about 28-ish games, 29 games at the June Connect, I think. So that sounds about right. And then on the games that are coming out, so you've got those 4 games, 5 games coming out. Then, as somebody's already mentioned here, Relicta. Relicta, of course, comes out tomorrow on the 4th. This looks, you know, again, I think it's in the spirit of the I want to say Turing. Yeah, the Turing test. Again, it's got a very familiar look and style to it. Maybe sort of bit Portals. But anyway, so this is coming out on tomorrow, coming out on the 4th. So that's pretty impressive. And then we've got things like Pga Golf is coming out this month. It's another one. Let me just switch that off there. Stop it. We've got Pga Golf. That's coming out on the 21st. Then you've got Windbound, which I'm really looking forward to. That's coming out on the 28th. I mean, I've mentioned this before, you know, August is meant to be a quiet month in terms of business. People go away, you know, people have holidays, countries shut down for 2 weeks. You know, it's usually a quiet month, and yet we're having an absolute bumper set of games. And that's not to say there's not going to be another set of bumper games when things really start to ramp up from September. So as I say, we've got Relicta tomorrow, PGA Tour on the 21st, Windbound on the 28th, possibly Serious Sam. Oh, there's some debate. I count 32 pro games. XV, are you counting Rock of Ages? Or will that be 33? Some debate there. Or are you including Destiny and somebody's not included Destiny? Come on, Duncan. Want to Escape. You should know exactly. You should have it on hand. You should have a list of all the games that have ever been pro. I think you should put it on your Cloudy with Games there. There's also in August, of course, let's not forget, we possibly Serious Sam. I think Serious Sam is due for release in August, and possibly Baldur's Gate 3. I never counted ESO. Oh, yep, 32. There we go. 32 games. And as I said, all Take-Two. So here we are. Want to Escape. All Take-Two games confirmed day and date. This is exactly in line with what I've mentioned before, that once we get into the development cycle, you know, Stadia being there, then from a marketing point of view, a publisher wants... It's not in the publisher's interest to have the games staggered. It doesn't help from a marketing point of view. Unless you're doing an exclusive or a timed exclusive, you want all the titles out on all the platforms that you're publishing on at the same time. Because you don't do staggered marketing. You do your marketing burst in one go. Your marketing spend is like, you know, 2 weeks before we do all this marketing. A week, you know, on the launch day we do this marketing, and for the following month we do this marketing, and it's all planned out on one key date. And the plan is that your titles come out on all the platforms that you've planned them to come out on that day to maximize your marketing. So it's in a publisher is going to strive to make sure the games come out on all, you know, if it's got a series of platforms that the games are coming out, they're going to come out all at the same time. It's in their interests. And as we become later in the development cycle, as I've said before, many times before on this show, you will see more and more games as Stadia becomes another platform, which reminds me, there's a piece about EA I need to talk about here. Another platform upon which the publishers are publishing. It will be day and date, and we know the ones that haven't, and why, and the reason behind it is because they were much later in their development when Stadia sort of came into the picture. So, you know, that's understandable, and we know, as confirmed, as well, we already knew, but Cloudy Games confirmed it recently, as though I think Google were almost going out their way to confirm it. Marvel Avengers is coming day and date. As I said to Cloudy with Games, it shouldn't really be news, because we've known that since day one, that it's day and date. But people get so worried about this, obsessed about day and date. The ones that aren't day and date are the exception to the rule. But what seems to have happened in my lecture about negativity last week, people have focused on the few that aren't day and date, as opposed to focus on the majority, I would argue, which have been day and date or will be day and date. So anyway, there we go. So yeah, possibly Baldur's Gate 3 as well could be coming this month. I mean, that's a busy Is nobody having a holiday? I mean, you know, that's a busy time. In terms of new game announcements, there's a new delightful indie game, Spiritfarer. Again, I love this design. This feels very much like a Twitch-like game. We know the sort of audience that, rather the games that Stadia are curating here, and that it's leaning more to having the interesting indie games that you might see on Switch, but with the AAA quality and the AAA games that you can see on PlayStation and on Xbox. And that, you know, the big games that the casual gamer expects to see there, the FIFAs, the Maddens, the Cyberpunks, all of that, the Marvels, but these beautifully designed and interesting games. I'm more than welcome, because they're not putting shovelware on here. A lot of these games are award-winning or delightful or imaginative, and they're curated. These games are curated. So, as I say, Spiritfarer looks a really great game. Thunder Lotus, of course. So they've already done stuff for Stadia before as well. So I think that's quite good, that you can see how Stadia are building up these relationships with these developers and sort of saying, okay, what's next on your schedule? You can do one for Stadia, etc., etc. There's been confirmation as well of Sekiro releasing. Where is it? Let's have a look. October the 29th, here again. If you don't have Sekiro already, you buy it here on your chosen platform. So we know Sekiro is already out. Or play it on Stadia. So this is the Activision site. Play it on Stadia from October the 29th. So just confirmation. Sekiro coming out October the 29th. Shout out to Cloudy with Games for highlighting this. But this is the blog from Activision. So you heard it from the horse's mouth, as they say. The horse's mouth. Yes, folks. Don't want to see my notes, folks. And as I say, also Cloudy with a chance of games, confirmed, as I said earlier, that Marvel Adventures is coming, day and date, on September the 4th. September the 4th. So that's good. Thanks for nothing, Clive unsubscribed. All right. You're welcome, Brian. You're welcome, Brian. I can confirm, Brian, that Chromebook users from about 2017, so if you bought a Chromebook, I think from 27 onwards, you can get 3 months free to Stadia Pro. And it also counts, if you've already got Stadia Pro, that you can indeed claim those extra 3 months. So Brian, if you're patient, the answers come. So don't worry about it, my friend. Sit back, chill, relax, and the answers come. Anyway, another thing people talk about is in the news as well, slightly here. Well, it's sort of news. It's about the user base. In fact, what I'll do is I'll talk about Fortnite and then I'll go back to the user base, because there was an announcement about something which I'll reflect on about the user base. But on the subject of the user base, of course, the big perennial question is, Fortnite, etc., etc. And I've gone to Stadia source on this one, who highlighted the tweet here to Tim Sweeney of Epic, the CEO of Epic. And the basic question here is, why isn't Fortnite on Google Stadia? Now, whatever you think of Fortnite, you cannot deny its impact on gaming in terms of its significance. It's one of those titles which has broken through beyond gaming culture. So, That'll be a cliche or stereotype, but parents know Fortnite. Non-gamers have heard of Fortnite. That is it. That's the significance of it. You might not like it as a game or any of that, but it is a significant game, and it would give significant buzz if it was on Stadia. I can live without Fortnite, but clearly the impact of it being on Stadia and available to play on Stadia would be significant. So it's understandable people ask the question, like many of the other, why isn't FIFA on it? Well, we know FIFA's coming and stuff like that. So why isn't Fortnite on Google Stadia? Tim Sweeney here says not a deep reason. We fully support Stadia in Unreal Engine. So the Unreal Engine is one of the most popular engines which developers use, of course, and it has Stadia functionality built into it. So it's good that one of the main development tools, it's not just the only one that has Stadia functionality built into it, but one of the main ones has Stadia functionality built in. So that's all cool. But the effort required to release Fortnite updates weekly in sync across 7+ platforms is extreme. And that makes it hard to add platforms that don't yet have mass market user bases. And that makes a lot of sense. I mean, you have to take this quote in context in terms of the disputes that Epic and Google have had about the mobile Fortnite version being in the App Store. So if you're not aware of the history of that, Epic developed the mobile phone version of Fortnite because they go for a massive multi-platform approach, and every app that's in Google Play, you have to pay revenue, obviously, to Google. And Tim Sweeney and Epic didn't like that approach on the basis that they said, well, the game is free. But Google, I think, are saying, yeah, well, it's sort of free, isn't it? But you make you make several £100 million a month from loot boxes and whatnot, and season skins, and sorry, not loot boxes, skins and season passes and all of that kind of stuff. And therefore, that's revenue, and therefore the agreement says we have a share of revenue. And anyway, so what Epic did is they said, okay, well, we won't be on your store then. And then they built a slightly convoluted way in which you could download sort of the APK of the software straight onto your phone and then play Fortnite. And it was sort of going through the backdoor way. And then Google finally shut that down, that sort of backdoor route. And Epic had no other choice but to go onto the store and agree some kind of terms. That clearly rankled Mr. Sweeney. So that this statement has to be taken in that context. However, he does have a valid form that it is that Fortnite is a game as service. Yeah, it's a game as a service. They have to service that game. They have to keep updating it on a regular basis because they give it away free. They have to keep it fresh. They have to keep putting in new skins. They have to put in, new chapters all the time and all these kind of things to keep it fresh, to keep it interesting, to keep people wanting to spend money and buy new skins and buy new season passes and all this kind of stuff. And all of that has got to work on all the platforms at the same time. And so they can release it at the same time. So each one has to be Q&A'd. Each one has to be checked and tested against each different platform. So that's what he's saying. And that costs money and effort. And so they'd have to put a separate team. They probably have separate teams for each platform who do Q&A, which is the testing process. All these kind of young 20-somethings testing the game out to see if it works or are there any bugs or whatever. And they all have to be bug-free in order for them to release them at the same time. So his argument is building for this other platform is a pain in the butt if the market isn't there for it. And, in terms of market return, they're looking at a mass global market. And, Stadia market base is not as big as the other platforms. But if we stop and think about it, there's a reason for that. And the reason is, people forget, and I see this all the time. When do you think Stadia will be more popular? It's in 14 countries. It's only in 14 countries, whereas every other platform is in multiple countries, and in multiple countries with massive populations. So if you say India or something, on the mobile phone, PUBG in India is massive because of the mobile phones. You've got whole swathes of South America. So there are mass population countries in the world, there's loads of countries in the world which Stadia is not in. It's not even in Portugal. There are countries in Europe in which Stadia is not released. So of course, the market base of Stadia is small, plus the fact it's only in its first year. And we won't see a rollout, I think, into other countries until Google are confident. We're kind of still in that testing, experimental data collecting phase in that first year. I don't think we'll see a rollout until more of the features are up and running and running sweetly. And on that very subject, there was a little tweet. Again, you take it with a pinch of salt, because all these things, all the Stadia tweets tend to be quite generic or formulaic. But here, somebody was saying, but still Stadia's not available in India. And Stadia's response here, again, a bit of a template. Look at that Fortnite at the bottom there. Must have heard what I was talking about. We appreciate your interest. We have no news to share when Stadia will be available in India. We're aiming to support more countries this year. We suggest keeping an eye on our social channels for updates. So it's interesting whether they will be rolling out to more countries this year. What do we think, chat? Do we think maybe on their anniversary, maybe in November, they might start opening up to more countries? I was doing some research, as I always do for these things, at Netflix. I think Netflix initially was North America, and then North America, UK, Australia, New Zealand, because obviously most of their content was English language content, and it costs money to add subtitles and all that kind of stuff, I guess. But you think about it, initially Netflix rollout was quite slow, was territory by territory, country by country almost, until they got to the point where they're in about 100 countries now, Netflix. But Netflix didn't launch into 100 countries straight away. As I said, initially I think it was just America, Canada, UK, Australia, and a couple of other places. So, when people say, there's not enough players on the Stadia, there's not enough. Yeah, well, there isn't. You're quite right. But A, it's less than a year old, and B, it's only in 14 countries, where the platforms that you're comparing it to are either, they have a legacy of 20 years old, or the actual consoles themselves are 5 years old, and they're in, most of the major countries in and around the world. So it makes a massive difference. So it's just something to bear in mind. And I'm quite excited about this tweet, which does suggest that they're going to do a second stage rollout. I think once they've released all the main features that they talked about last year, they finished rolling those out, and they know they're robust and they know they're working, then I think they can start rolling them out. Because obviously we know YouTube is global, and the YouTube functionality will have a real big impact. So I can see, as I say, second stage. Don't think they'll do it in stages, but I think the second stage of country rollout will be towards the end of this year. That's my view. Let me know in the chat whether you think that's right or wrong. Whether you think we'll see other countries entering the Stadia family, as it were. The other big thing this week, of course, is the introduction of crowd play. Anybody watch that crowd play that was done by Juggernaut? Let me know in the chat. So Juggernaut, who I looked his channel up, he doesn't have millions and millions of subscribers, and most of his content seems to be of a retro gaming sort of element. And we know anecdotally that Stadia seems to be favored by, you know, what we might call the lapsed gamer, the older gamer maybe, who's suddenly going, oh, you see it on Reddit all the time, or on Twitter, and even Facebook, on some of the Facebook pages of Stadia, people going, oh, I stopped playing games a while ago, but then I picked up Stadia and now I found my love of games again, and all that kind of stuff. And those sort of people, you know, have a kind of happy retro nostalgic memory of playing games. And maybe this guy's channel is exactly that target demographic, because there's a lot of retro games that he's sort of that he's played on his channel. Plus, it's not too big in terms of, it's not millions, so they could sort of test it out on a slightly smaller scale to see how it'll work. But Avery, and again, shout out to Avery and Stadia Source, did a stream of the guy's stream. That makes sense. Have I got it lined up here? I had a bit. Let me just find the bit. Bear with me. All right, here we are. So I'm going to play the bit of the video. Oops. Let me just put the...
the screen
you can hear it and play.
It. I don't know if
it's... Let's go back a bit to the buttons, because what's interesting here... Right. So on the... If you see down here, next to Avery here, the leave button. So what I love about it is that there's this simple button which is colored when you can join, and it says join now. And if you click it and you don't have the game, it'll take you to the page so you can buy it, which surely is a publisher's dream. Imagine major streamers playing one of your games. If you're a publisher playing one of your games, you know, when you've ever watched a stream of a new game and you thought, oh, I love that game, I want to play that game, I want to jump in with my favorite streamer, or I just want to, you know, play that game. And the ability to do that, but unlike other platforms, where the mood has taken you to play that game, right? You're in the mood to play that game. You literally press that button, and within seconds, you're actually playing the game. You're not being taken to a page, and then you buy the game, and then you download the game, and you wait half an hour or an hour for the game to download, and then you can't play with your streamer now because he's gone or she's gone. That's the beauty of Stadia and the integration of YouTube. You hit that button, you're jumping in. Or you can buy that game straight away and you're ready to go. So even if you don't have the game, you're ready to go. You're just a credit card away from going and jumping into the game. So anyway, Avery got in the queue, and it says you're number one in here. You can see, get ready, you're 1 of 8 in the line. So here he is, he's ready, and he's about ready to play. He's waiting here. Now Avery, I think he'd bought the game on this day, so he could play it. And there we go. He's next in line, starting now. He presses starting now button, and he's straight in. I mean, that's just like, it's just the integration and everything is really cool. And the only difference really here is, as I say, Avery said that he bought the game, so he hadn't done that initial, when you buy a new game, you have to go a few pages, like all this kind of junk initially. Whereas if he already had the game and he'd already done all that, I think he would have gone in a couple of steps earlier. But even so, despite that, so the very fact that he just bought the game, this is how long it takes in real time for him to jump in. Here we go. Straight in. Updating the game data.
I'm not even hitting these buttons.
You know, he has to accept all this, you know, service. If he'd already bought the game, he would have already done that. So that step would have gone.
Zooming me through all these screens. I'm not,
but this is all in real time.
Hands off the controller. Hands off the buttons.
Yeah, he was lucky he got a key from the stream. Joining match.
Joining the match.
Boom.
And there we go.
There he
There we
is.
are. I'm in.
Straight in the match. Charm City, a.k.a. Avery. We never knew you were called Charm City. Charm City versus Juggernaut. And he's straight in playing the match. I will not show any more because it's Mortal Kombat. And in my old age, we just find the violence in it horrific. I just can't ever get over how visceral Mortal Kombat is. Anyway, but I think it was I think it's, to me, it's really exciting. The fact that crowd plays that you could think of I'm sure all of you could think of great games in which that's a great functionality, especially when, for streaming games, for those sort of streamers who like to play with with their viewers and stuff, and want to get their viewers to jump into the game. And I think it was Gem, or I saw somewhere there was an option as well where you can potentially limit it to members only. So for instance, if you're interested in joining the Clive Illenden channel, for instance, and I did a stream on the Clive Illenden channel, although of course I stream on the Lord Kensal Stadia channel, which I don't have enough subs, so you need to help me out on that one. But if I had a membership bit on that, I could restrict the gameplay to just my the join button to just my channel members. So there's that versatility. So you've got that on YouTube anyway, and then once the ease of being able to stream direct to YouTube as well comes in, then you've just got that beautiful integration. Trevoris says, I tried it twice. The second time was much quicker, as you notice you didn't have, to accept the EULA and stuff like that. Yeah, that's what Avery was saying. He did say he just bought the game, and so he hadn't gone through that acceptance of the terms and all that kind of stuff. But the cool thing is, as I say, after this, we've got, I'm going to butcher his name in a minute, so I'll have a look at it rather than butchering it. But and that's why I've gone early tonight, and I might stream the stream as well. If you let me know in the chat where we want to do that. It's on I want to say it's on a much bigger channel, but it's actually on this guy's gaming channel. So this other guy that they're doing it with tonight, which is the main one, the main event, as it were. I think that thing on Saturday that Avery joined there with Juggernaut, I think was a test run, personally. I don't know what you think, but I think that was a test run for the main event, which is this guy here. Oh, is he playing already? Or he's just warming up? There we are. He's just warming up. Look, we can see buy and play. Now, I'm curious, because this is my Google account. I don't own. This is quite interesting. I don't own Mortal Kombat. Little Stadia symbol in the corner there. I don't remember that on the thing. So my Clive Illenden is what I'm registered with on Stadia. Let me take the sound down a minute on there so you can hear me. So my Stadia account is under the same account that this YouTube channel is on. So it must know that I don't have Mortal Kombat, which is really a bit creepy that they know everything. But no, we're over that. I know everybody. I know all the companies know everything. But I think that's really cool. That's a really clever aspect to it, I think, personally, that it knows you don't own the game. I'm curious. Tell me, those that had it, did it just say join? Trevorius, Avery's in the chat. I don't know if Avery's, but did it just say join on the button? That's the key thing. But it's because if it did, that's pretty cool as well. The fact that it knows you haven't got it, so you can just buy and play. Let's click it now. Let's see what happens. Yeah, it takes me straight into my Stadia account, And there for 20 quid, I'm not going to buy it because I just find the game a bit. I like the odd fighting game, but I'll stick with Samurai Showdown personally. One of the first pro games. But yeah, buy that there, and then when I go back, presumably, I'd be in a position. It would say, it says play and in queue. Exactly. Brilliant. Thank you for that. So, I mean, come on, guys. That is pretty major integration within a platform like YouTube. So you think when they start rolling this out to other countries, Stadia to other countries, they're going to do it when this functionality is there. I swear, because, and we know this is coming, they're already testing it out. So this is going to be rolled out within the next few weeks. And I think more and more games, I think will integrate this functionality into their games. I wonder to what degree what work the developers have to do, or is it all on YouTube and Stadia's side and just links? Because obviously, if you were Stadia or Google, you want to make the effort required to integrate it into your game as minimal as possible, in my opinion, so that there's an incentive to do it. Eddie's streaming it live. Look at that. I just not spotted that. What I could do is I could stream Eddie streaming this. Anyway, so the weird thing about again, I think they're just testing it out because although this guy has, he didn't have 966 subscribers earlier on his channel. I'll tell you that. He had about 780, something like that, around about the 800 mark. So he's gained some more subscribers through this exercise. I bet they're all Stadia fans have subscribed to him. But on his main channel, his vlog and lifestyle channel, not his vlog because he's got a vlog channel as well, but on his main channel, he's got a couple of million subscribers. But on this gaming channel, as I said, it was 700, but now he's nearly 1,000 subscribers on this. So he's quids in. He's loving it. I reckon he'll get to 1,000 by the end of tonight. Am I playing? Was it? There we are. I stopped it there. But there we go. I'm hoping the option that brand accounts are able to play. A random nude. Do you have a brand account? I have separate YouTube accounts. Obviously, I have Lord Kensal account and then the Generation X Gaming Club account. But my Stadia is under my Gmail that I have for my main my main YouTube channel. So that's the main thing. But there we go. Hey! Blue Bobs! My name just went up there. Hey, Blue Bobs, I saw it, man. That's cool. Let's get into chat here a minute. Right, I'll just let me let me go to the news and then we'll go to the chat. Let me just get chat functioning. That's funny, Blue Bobs. You made me laugh then. I spotted it, man. I spotted it. Let's give chat a kickstart. Bear with me. I just have to. But who thinks this is Crowdplay is going to be launched in September? Imagine with Marvel, because that's you can join in. I mean, there's so many games in which this functionality would just lend itself. I mean, like if I'm playing PUBG, like, hey, duo up with me, squad up with me, or something like that, or Bomberman. I mean, it's interesting they played it on a 2-player game, so there's only one person at a time. I'd like to see how it functions if you're doing a Bomberman and say, okay, everybody who wants to play Bomberman, jump in now, 64 players. So, yeah, 63 people. And how it works out, who's first sort of thing. Who's first in the queue? This is why I don't like it. The fatalities in it are horrific. Right. I'm just getting my widgets. Bear with me here. We have to kickstart the chat sometimes. Save settings. No, we want widgets, chat. Oh, there it is. We're good. Let's go, man. Let's go. Chat. There we go. Yeah, that's what I thought. So, random noob saying he went live 15 minutes ago. He went a bit eager. Exactly. I timed my show perfectly so that, you know, I moved my show just for him. Thanks for the shout out there, though, Blue Bombs. It made me laugh, that did. Juggernaut is streaming as well. So he did mention that he had some more codes to give out. That's interesting. Random noob, your YouTube account needs to be in the main account to join in. If you're using a brand YouTube account, you can't join in. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, because it recognizes, as I said, it recognizes the fact that, as I said here, I don't know why I'm pointing, you can't see, but that I'm pointing. But am I hiding it? I can't work out where I'm in it. Oh no, it's down there, isn't it? There we are. Yeah, I'm not hiding it. Get a chance to play alongside. Oh, you'll be able to put text in here. Write your own text. Play with Kareem Jovian Games. It says there in the title. Get a chance to play alongside. I wonder if that's standard text or you can change the text. And then it just inserts name of channel. So here it's get a chance to play with Clive Illingdon. Get a chance to play alongside Clive Illingdon in this live stream. Here are the details. There we are. There's the details, everybody. Join Stadia live streams. Get a chance to play alongside this. All this as well. This useful information tabs that pop up and all of that. Get a chance to play alongside your favorite live streamers using Stadia, Google's cloud gaming service. Here's what you'll need to do before you can join the queue. Get the game on Stadia, then return to this YouTube tab to get in line to play. Have a controller or a mouse and keyboard to play with. That's it. That is it, ladies and gentlemen. Very, very simple. Right. What I'm going to do... There we are. I'm going to put his link in the chat. If you want to go and see him rather than watch me, watch him. I don't mind. We can all go and see him. Before you go, as I say, if you're new here, make sure you hit subscribe. Hit all the likes as well. That's really cool. And if you go over there, do me a favor and say, I sent you. I'm going to say here, hey, what I'll do is here, I'm going to go, hey, you can see what I'm going to do. What's his name? Karim. Sending over my stream gang. Okay? Not that he'll notice, but you never know. There we go. I'm going to post this. So, click on the link. I think we'll call it a night there. As I say, loads of great stuff. This, I think, really excited about. I'm really looking forward to this being rolled out. I'm thinking it's going to be September, just in time for Marvel Adventures and all of that. Get yourself over to Kareem's channel. But remember, say I sent you, yeah? So get over there now, like his channel, say I sent you. Have a great evening. Remember, I'm on tomorrow night with The Rock on Generation X Gaming Club, so check that out. Thank you for spending your evening with me once again. I really appreciate it, or afternoon, or whatever it is where you are. I really appreciate you being here. It means a lot. Keep doing this. I love doing this kind of stuff. I love doing the show every week. I love you guys being there. So thank you very much. Have a great evening. Get yourself over to Kareem's channel. Check out what's happening. But say I sent you, and we'll see if it has any impact. Thank you, and goodbye.
Rage on that beat, going crazy.